Hello, my Jedi friends. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the common phases of narcissist recovery. Now, we're going to cover all of the things that you're going to go through if you've been in a narcissistic relationship and you have got to get out. And these aren't necessarily all linear either, but I'm going to talk about some of the symptoms that you're going to experience, or you've been experiencing, or you have experienced. So whether you're in a narcissistic relationship, you've recently broke out, or you've gone through it, you'll maybe recognize some of the things that I'm about to tell you. So the hardest thing with narcissist recovery, and before the recovery even starts, is denial and realization. It's that slow waking up to the fact that despite your best efforts and despite you thinking that you could bring the best out of this person, that they are a narcissist and they're not actually going to change, that the pattern's always the same. They do a good job of pretending that they might, but it never really happens. And that always leads to a lot of beating yourself up. It's a tough one. This is the hardest part of the process, is to realize that you're in this trap. Most empaths for years don't even realize they're in a trap. They're telling themselves this story that this person is just having a bad day, except the bad days keep piling up. And then one day you realize there's all too many bad days, and the consequences of bad days are all too bad. They get worse and worse and worse. And one of the big things here is waking up to the fact that the narcissist, in their worst moments, would do and say stuff that you would never even dream of saying yourself. And that's the hardest part of the process. That wake up call, the denial. It's a big phrase. And you've got awareness and clarity. So you're recognizing patterns of manipulation now, and you're getting moments of clarity when it all sort of makes sense. You don't really want to acknowledge it. You don't want to acknowledge that you have not seen this when it's so clear. When there's a pattern over time, you look back and you think, it's so clear. And you get these moments of clarity, and you want to talk yourself out of it. You don't want to have that acknowledged on some level. But the fact is, they get increasingly clear and clear and clear. Once you hit that point, you're going to go through grief and emotional processing. It's going to churn up. It's a bit like a bomb going off in your body, emotional bomb. All sorts of stuff's going to come up. All incidents are going to appear, and you're going to have to process them all. And this is part of the journey, my Jedi friends. You're going to go through grief. You're going to go through this emotional turmoil. You're going to acknowledge your anger. Your anger is going to surface, and you're going to direct it at the narcissist, and you're going to be in the no nonsense energy for anyone around you. The energy can be channeled into setting boundaries, of saying no and not refusing further manipulation. So this is a boundary forming. It's actually very important. Anger leads to clearer boundaries. And one thing that mainly the empaths struggle with is having any sort of boundaries here. So this is what happens. Anger, boundaries, anger, boundaries. So you then start to process and you seek support. You're telling people, you're telling your close friends, you're processing, you're trying to work your way through it. Your friends are probably resisting the urge or attempting to resist the urge to say, I told you so, that we've seen this for a long time coming. And it's very easy to see other people's quirks. Not so easy to see your own, my Jedi friends. So don't go too hard on yourself. But you're realizing that the blame game is going to then unfold. And luckily, if you're lucky, you'll have some good friends to talk this through, or you'll have a professional therapist, because this is heavy duty stuff that you're going to go through. Then you have to get through the self-care and reconnection. And this is things of like daily habits to energize yourself, to love yourself a little bit better, to stop beating yourself up. That's going to be a big thing, especially that you're going to be focusing on your needs as the priority, probably for the first time in years, of not looking out for someone else, of not trying to make somebody else happy, of not dancing on eggshells, which quite often it can be in a narcissistic relationship, of that freedom of actually being able to prioritize your own needs in amongst this. And then you have to rebuild and restore. And you only do that through doing this over time, prioritizing your own needs over time, introducing daily habits, daily things, little exercise routines, little mind techniques, little meditation parts of the day. Whatever it is that you're doing, you just need to do it on repeat. And that's going to be the rebuilding phase. And when you've been doing that for long enough, you'll start to feel growth and empowerment. Now, this takes a while to get to this point, but this is all about restoring your self-worth. It's about realizing what you were doing, that you got caught. And here's the wake-up call, my Jedi friends. Every empath gets caught. Have to get caught because you trust people. You're empathic. You had to get caught. This had to happen. So go easy on yourself. Go easy on yourself. You take the best person you've ever met, the most empathic person, and they'll tell you about a narcissistic, abusive relationship, whether it's in a family, a friend network, or a personal relationship. So this is completely normal in the bigger picture of things because this is part of the awakening process, and you had to wake up. You had to wake up to this. So go easy on yourself. You had to wake up. This had to happen, my Jedi friends. This is how you integrate all of who you are, not just the sweet and light part, but the slightly angrier, the slightly no nonsense part of you, the part of you that prioritizes your own needs, because you realize that by doing that, you can help more people. And when that happens, that's when the integration happens and you start to flourish. When you realize the ownership of putting your own needs first, of prioritizing your own well-being, you realize you can help more people. You're a better version of you, but you're also armed with the awareness of what narcissism is and the tools to deal with it if it shows its ugly face. And you may even be an expert at calling narcissists out or walking away and cutting ties early, however way that manifests. But either way, these are the steps of the process, and you will have to go through them, my Jedi friends. It's completely normal to have to do this. So you've got all of this to look forward to, or not, as the case may be, depending where you are in your narcissistic relationship dynamic evolution. But rest assured, in summary, every empath has to go through this, and it is brutal, my Jedi friends. There is no way of taking of making that sound any better than it actually is. But hopefully this has helped you. It's given you the phases that you're going to have to face, and it's going to hopefully give you the pathway for you to feel better, to be the best version of you, and to shine your light in a way more powerful way, my Jedi friends. So embrace the light, embrace your path, and get ready, buckle in for the roller coaster ride of waking up to narcissism. And if you've enjoyed this and you want more of the same, then please do like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want more pieces of that jigsaw, you will find the next one just there.